Minglava, everyone. I hope you all are doing. So today, I'm very honored to receive you all to this virtual cinema, yeah? A kind of cinema. So anyway, this cinema is not just a film show. You know, this is very, very important to our country's people. To the children of our people. As a, you know, as a man who is working for the children affected by the armed conflicts and the earthquakes very recent. So this is very important event for us. That's why we hope everybody here knows about our works, and also uh you can also pass this information and share this information with the others, with your friends as well. So anyway, thank you for attending. Thank you for participating in this event. So our, for our novice services, without your donations, it cannot happen. We cannot help our children. So your, contribution means a noble cause that you all can contribute. And now you have already contributed right now. And we intend and we work to pass your, loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, to all the vulnerable communities in Myanmar, in the country, along with your donations. So we do not only work for the monastic communities. Maybe, you know, when the people from outside the country might think, oh, they are just supporting the monastic communities. Not like that. You know, uh, the monastic communities are, but in fact, you know, monastic communities are providing shelter, accommodation, and food and education and healthcare and almost everything. I am a father of two children. So as a father, I'm always think about that. How could, you know, how could they support, how could they provide these many children? Some monasteries might have 14 to 15 children. Some nunneries might have 40 to 50, or maybe sometimes about 100, or sometimes over 100. So we do not only work for these monastic communities, but in fact, thousands of children taking a shelter in these monastic sanctuaries. We do not only provide monetary support, physical support, we also support them with mental encouragement, mentally, They have been filled with new hopes to get up from Paul after the earthquakes, after the after their nightmares, and we could help them continuously over the last few years since the coup in 2021. This is not a message from the Better Burma team leader from the ground, but to reflect all the voices from the needy ones in the country. You know, when they received our donations, they were surprised, they were encouraged, they were very thankful. I can't believe, I can't believe to say this, because uh, how much they have been grateful, thankful to us, to the donors, as I mean, to the donors who gave them a house after the earthquakes. So, uh, I have a special story to share with you. A 72-year-old head nun who is the head of a nunnery that we have built a house after the earthquakes for her young student nuns, took a meditation retreat for several hours, thousands, sorry, for 5 days continuously. I can't imagine, you know, as for me to meditate for an hour is very hard for me. But this nun, she was taking the meditation retreat, and she told me the reason why. And she said that, she was shocked after the earthquakes on March 28th, 2025, very recently, 8 months ago. She told me, she told me that, she was shocked at first by by these destructive damages, by this havoc brought by the earthquakes. When we could all make it to reach the donations there, give our hands to them, and pass the donations from all international donors, along with their love, care, and sympathy, and they store their energies back. They rise up, and they finally manage to recover. And she said that I was shocked at first, and when you come here, I thought that, you know, we are still having someone who helps us. She said like that. And then she was, very last month, she was taking a meditation retreat for 5 days continuously without eating anything, without drinking, without standing up, without walking. And then her assistant went to that meditation center and she has to, wake her up. And then her assistant told us that she said like that, she said that we must we must return our gratitude to all the donors because they gave us food, they gave us home. So we have only this way to return our gratitude. Oh my goodness. After hearing this, I have a goosebumps, I can't imagine how this is very meaningful way they are returning the gratitude to their donors. So yeah, from the time the destructive earthquake struck our country, especially the Sagaing and the central parts, we also faced the nightmares, and also we saw many, you know, many sorrowful scenes of the suffering people and also the vulnerable communities, including the monastic communities. So amid a dozen challenges and barriers, of course, we finally made to bring all the donations to them. Monasteries and nunneries are not existing only for the religious purposes, and they are also the reactors or implementers of love, care, and sympathy. Since the destructive forces have fallen on our land, our beautiful land, you know, all the crisis after the COVID-19, disease, this disease, and also the civil war, armed conflicts, you know, and they never hesitated. The monastics never hesitated to give their hands to the needy ones, their displaced families, from the armed conflict zones, and their children. Now again, when the earthquake struck, they were hit by another punch, but they were not shocked and hesitated for long. They rise up again immediately for for the children they cared for the people they cared for. Yet, after 7 months of the earthquakes, of course, there's there they still have challenges and a lot of needs for these children they cared for. We have built homes, temporary homes, and safe permanent home as well for these nunneries and monasteries. In Sagaing, we have already built seven monasteries, six nunneries and one monastery. And also we contributed to renovate, to rebuild their houses like that in Sagaing. So this is why we are here together to give them more of our hands. We shouldn't wait to give them energies, and we shouldn't hesitate to let them know we are with them? What shall we be waiting for? So thank you for all your contributions. It all matters for us. It all matters for all of our beneficiary communities. Your support means everything for their world. Thank you. Thank you again. So let me continue uh, a very short presentation because maybe the people here are waiting for this film. So anyway, let me present a short video. So please for so, everyone can see, right?
Yes.
Yes, right? Okay. So this is a very short video and about our works. Can you hear me, right? Can you hear the voice as well? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Wow, con này. All right, so this is the video about our previous works over the last few years. And now, and very roughly, I would like to say that all these children, all these communities were affected, by, by their armed conflicts in the country, in their areas. They flee from their original areas and to the other safer areas like that. And then the monasteries and nunneries in those areas care for them, provides them shelters like that. So you might have seen the video of the children. So these children come from Sagaing region, and they are living, they are living with their parents in Yangon, and they have nowhere to go and study, and then the nearby nunnery school teaches them, so like that. So anyway, I also would like to shortly present our future works about up and also our previous works after the earthquakes. And now what are we going to do? So please for a moment. So this is the first nunnery that we built after the earthquakes. We arrived there after a month after the earthquakes, as in May, and we could build them a house before the rainy season, before the rain falls. So this is the first nunnery and the second nunnery at the same time. So in this nunnery are, three young nuns were trapped, and three-story RC building and another two-story RC building uh, collapsed, very badly collapsed. And three nuns were, you know, trapped amid the debris. And, the monk you can see in this photo, and the monk rescue two of them, but with the sorrow, with with the deep sorrow, and you know, it's the loss for the nunnery. One young nun was killed during the earthquake.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place is much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a
So this is the second nunnery that we built the homes. Actually, there were about 60 nuns, but after the earthquakes, most of them were taken back by their parents to their original areas or to other cities. Although the areas were not very peaceful, but because of the earthquakes, their children got a trauma. So, so anyway, there are still about 30 to 35 nuns, young nuns in this nunnery. And there's 72, actually there's 70 years old nun, had a nun, said that she was thinking about going back to her hometown, to her original area after the earthquakes. And then, but when the donors came here, and then she was motivated again to resume her, noble services, providing education to the children. This nunnery does not only teach Buddhist literature, but also teaches compulsory basic education, what we call lay-based education as well. So they're very good at, and the young nuns from this nunnery are outstanding students. So this is the nunnery of, actually, you can see the group of this small group of nuns. They were evacuated. They fled from their original township in the north of Mandalay, and they were staying at a, you will see that. You will see that the monastery that they were sheltering, they were taking shelter in Sagaing, also was very badly damaged, and you know, and then they lost their shelter again. That's why they were living in this bamboo shed, as you can see in the photo. So we go help them. Uh, we go help them with this small lightweight steel structure building for them, and they were very happy. Not only with them, they also live with their Lady Bear families, displaced families. They also provide their shelter for when they got a new home, uh, for the displaced families from their original hometown areas. So this is their fourth nunnery. So you can see the two nuns in their 70s in this photo, and their house. You can see in the photo, three-story building, RC building, was very badly damaged and it can no longer safe to live. And then they were living on the ground in the temporary tents built by courier uh, aid agencies. I think Quaker, I'm not sure. But after that, when we saw that they were living on the ground for about 2 months, and also the rain already started, and then we couldn't live, we couldn't help but to construct a house for them, and they were very happy for that as well. And in this nunnery, the nunnery was not damaged very badly by itself, but the RC building, three-story RC building next to the nunnery, the debris of the buildings, when the earthquake struck, and it fall on the roof of the nunnery, and then the walls also collapsed, and we could build them. We could rebuild the walls and also roofing works as well. So, and a special note of this nunnery is this hatch nun comes from the Wibusiaros relatives, the most revered Wibusiaros relatives. She comes from Shibu Township, exactly Kinwu Township. Yeah. And this is the Zenoria Monastery that we have built a house for them. All the structures, all three-story RC buildings you can see here. All the buildings, except only one in the near the gateway, as you can see in the middle photo. only that, except that building, all the buildings collapsed and the monks could not live anymore. So it is a very heartbroken thing to see to see this monastery, because every year every rain retreat, every Vesa, we donated food. We Better Burma donated food for these monks and nuns in this monastery. So this nunnery also, uh, its walls collapsed. The brick house walls collapsed, and the another two-story RC building was also no longer safe. They couldn't even demolish it. They couldn't even do the demolition works because of the cost. Until now, as um, for the last time I visited, so we built a school, like a school building, and also for the uh, around 5, 6 young nuns can live in this house. So this is another nunnery, and this is, this majestic, wonderful, very beautiful temple or this nunnery. For this contribution, a donor contacted Better Burma and that for her donation that she awarded in her PhD uh, dissertation paper, and she donated her award to renovate, to rebuild the temple in this nunnery. So the old nuns all are in there. The old head nuns and the assistant nuns, they have five elderly nuns uh in the age or over 90, over 90, 92, 95, like that. So they still need help for this temple renovation reconstruction. And also we partially contributed to the rebuilding of the rebuilding of the nunneries, small nunneries. They have 15 to 16 young nuns, and then so we partially contributed to them, and then they got rebuilt. You know, here you can see in the second photo of the second row. Here you can see, and they got rebuilt it. Actually, it was previously three-story building, and now one story they got demolished. One story, the upper floor, and now they have a and they also use the reinforced, I mean, beams to to reinforce and strengthen their house. So our next target community is Standardiza Ramananari. It is an orphanage. There are over 90 orphans. The nuns are providing the children, including the infants. You will see the photo in the credits. So infants, they do not only feed them, they accommodate. They also give for the boys, clothes for the boys and for the girls and for the nuns. When they are sick, of course, they are also providing the treatments as like mother. So due to the increasing number escalated armed conflicts in this region, in the Sagaing region, so there are also more children and orphans coming from the nearby townships in Sagaing region, and earthquakes destroying the soul building, Dhamma Hall, which they used as a classroom and also for their living space. Now they are living in a big bamboo hut, which is not safe and healthy for them. It is winter now. It is the winter falling now, so very limited food donors. That's why a few last week I contacted. Actually, we are organizing a food donation for the nuns and displaced families in Mandalay very very soon. With the local in collaboration with the local charity, and we contacted the head nun And then she said that she has been away from her kids, and then she cried on the phone in her insight, you know, in her delight. I mean, she was delighted and she cried on the phone that uh, she and her assistant nuns having in Musa, the Myanmar-China border, which is more the economic condition is better than in Sagaing and Mandalay, the central areas of Myanmar, to collect alms for their children's food, and they sent back the donations to the assistant nun who remained in the nunnery, and so very hard, very difficult for the nuns to feed these 90 children. So this is our main current target. You can see the infants here as well. So uh, in collaboration with the school construction organization, we are also trying to build a school classroom in this place, and so to house their classroom as well as to house they can sleep at night time. And the next is three nunneries. So all their houses were damaged like that. They cannot rebuild because of the very high costs, very costly to rebuild it. So they were just living in the bamboo hut, and they are also planning to build a small new home next to the nunnery. So this the nuns the nuns in this nunnery are also outstanding nuns. They completed, Dhammasriya level, which is actually it means Dhamma teacher. So it means a kind of master level. So they in the Buddhist education. So they are trying that. And the next is that Sadhana Mandai nunnery. We say Sadhana Mandai. And 26 resident nuns here. And there had nun who was taking meditation for 5 days continuously is from this nunnery, you know. So we are also planning to help them rebuild this this house. The walls downstairs were rebuilt with the help of a Vietnamese donor, and we are planning to build a wall upstairs. And the next is this nunnery lost all the water supplies. The whole nunnery collapsed onto the ground, and the young nuns from this nunnery had to go to a nearby nunnery to take a shower. And then you can see here in the photo, it's totally empty after the earthquakes. They moved to a new area, but here in this area, they don't have or they cannot dig water because I think the earthquake destroyed the water system. Not only the distribution pipes, distributing river water distribution system, but also the underground water system. So uh, and the last nunnery that we are targeting is it's not in Zagai, it's in Mandalay. It is the reputable nunnery of which has over 220 young nun students. And you know, the three-story Dhamma teaching hall collapsed, its western part collapsed and sank down to the ground. And another other residential houses were also destroyed. You know, and the original donors or their residential houses were rebuilt them again. But for the teaching hall, they still need much help for the donations. And also, we are also trying to help them with food and many other monastic requisites like ropes, because they also mostly lost ropes in the debris after the earthquakes like that. So there are still many other needs. I was amazed. I was surprised by this 82-year-old head nun. You can see her looking at the temple. The temple's western part actually is a kind of detached house sunk down into the ground on March 28th. But a few weeks later, when they were demolishing it, and also, you know, in course, on top of that, another part, collapsed again, with a very loud noise. And then amazingly, the pagoda she built wasn't damaged, and then she was paying respect to the pagoda, as you can see in the photo. Her mental strength and resilience are very unbelievable. She she was smiling every time we talk, and she said that this is a second chance for me to rebuild all the houses. So very bad and very sorrowful things of the nunnery. You can see in the photo 10, in the 10th photo here, it was a teaching hall. There are two parts in the middle, divided in the middle, a kind of like detached house. The first part was sunk down into the ground on March 28th, and the next part where the pagoda is. And a few weeks later, due to the aftershocks very frequently and continuously struck Mandalay and Sagaing and surrounding areas over the last few months. Until now, even I had a news that yesterday or the day before yesterday, the aftershocks were still striking Mandalay and Sagaing. As you can see here in the photo, you know, the temple, you know, and then they it was amazing that although they had lost their homes and they were living in the temporary huts, temporary tents on the ground, every day and every morning and every evening, they continued their noble duties like paying respect, paying worshiping at the Buddha and at night times and more in the mornings and meditating like that. You can see here in the photo 64, they stay meditate, they stay worshiping, and you know, and a month later after the earthquakes, the rain also heavily rained continuously. So they had a lot of challenges and barriers. So thank you all. Uh, so thank you for listening and watching uh my presentation, and I hope you all know about the nuns and monasteries who are needing your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amora. Yeah, it's very touching. It's so sad and um,
Yeah,
devastating.
every time I talk, I cannot control my emotion.
Mhm.
Uh, very heart attack. Very heartbroken.
I know. I'm teary-eyed also just watching it. What more if you're on the ground? Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. We really need to know all this. Yeah, so now we are humbled to share. We're humbled to share the film Thousand Mothers.
Now enjoying the film.
the Jirawana Monastery in Saoti, the Buddha address by 172 of this book.
Nada zali tada na yami tada na nidi tada na ubani di tada na buri zali tada na bisa zali tada na adimni tada na gami tada na vivagi tada na hari tada na idri tada na zali tada na magi tada na tamyuri tada ata na vivuri tada na adi tada idriya tamyura diya uladi na idriya na arani na na tamyuriအရင်ကျမ်းပါတယ်ဆိုတာဒါလူတွေနဲ့တိတ်ပြီးတော့ဟိုမဆက်ဆံတာဘယ်မှတိတ်ပြီးတော့မသွားမလာဘူးအရှုပ်ရှင်လေးခင်းနေပေါ့နော်ညားသွားပြီလားမကဘာမှဖြစ်နေတဲ့အလုပ်ကလူတွေရဲ့အလုပ်ကိုသိစိတ်ဝင်စားအောင်ကိုလုပ်ရမယ့်အလုပ်မဟုတ်ဘူးလေဒါမြတ်စွာဘုရားကိုပေးထားတဲ့တောင်းကိုယူရမယ့်တောင်းဝင်မရှိဘူးနော်ဒီကရေကြပဲနာကပဲလေနေရှိပါမယ်ပဲလေကြပဲနာကပဲလေရေပဲနာပဲလေရေပဲနာကမတ်အမိကI'm so beautiful. We just like that. What the Lui chạy chỉ mới giàu. Học đi mà mới giàu nó bảo mới giàu đấy đấy. Cha gì vậy mà? Học đi. Thì nếu như thì nó sẽ quay sang về quay giàu đấy nó. Đã cha hả? Nó có đi mới giàu. Mới giàu nó. Wow, anh là hả? Mà lâu là. Mới giàu. Học đi. Dunia please yo. Aku yang. Hobi. Dunia tatawao. Tatabu. Matabu. အားလုံးကသူ့ကြောင့်ကိုကြောင့်အလိုတာဝန်ယူကြတယ်လေသူ့အတော်ကိုအတော်ရှိကြတယ်ကလေးနဲ့ကလေးဆိုတော့အဲ့ဒါတွေကိုလုပ်ပေးရတယ်ဒီလက်ရှင်ဝင်မလားလိုက်မယ်ချို့လက်ဒုက္ခရောက်လို့လိုက်တယ်ကျောင်းသွားတယ်ရှိရင်သွားမနော်ဆက်ပြီးတော့တူလားရောက်ခါစားတော့အခက်ခဲတွေ့တာပေါ့နော်တွေ့တယ်ဆိုတာသူ့ကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့နေပုံထိုင်ပုံလေးတွေကတော့ပြန်ပြီးတော့တချို့ကြတော့ကျောင်းကကလေးလေးလို့ဆိုရင်တော့ပါရမီရှိလို့ဆင်းရဲလို့မဟုတ်ဘူးဒီတော့ကိုယ်ကြောင်းလို့ပြောတချို့လည်းမိဘမရှိတော့လို့နော်
တူနေလဲဒီလိုဘိုက်ကမကောနဲ့လေဒီလိုတက်တက်လေးလုပ်လေလှအောင်လုပ်ပဲဆိုတော့နေမမနဲ့အဲ့ဒါစာရီလေးရကြပါသည်ဆရာမစကားလေးနားထောင်ညာဒီနေ့နဲ့ဒီနေ့စိတ်ထားအဲ့ဒီကိစ္စဒီမှာဆောက်ချပါဒီချစ်ဒုက္ခရောက်နေလို့နော်အခုလိုပေါ့ဆရာလေးတို့လူမျိုးရွာပြန်သွားတယ်သူတို့အရန်အခက်ခဲဖြစ်နေတယ်ဒီလက်ရှင်ဝမလားစောင့်ရှောက်ပြီးမယ်အဲ့ဒါဆိုတချို့လည်းအဲ့လိုလိုက်ခဲ့တယ်
ဒီအသက်က18နှစ်ထဲမှာပေါ့ဝတ်တာကတော့10နှစ်ထဲမှာ10နှစ်ထဲမှာမိဘတွေကတော့မို့ခိုင်းဆရာလေးကိုယ်တိုင်ဝတ်ချင်လို့ဆိုမှဝတ်ခဲ့တာအမေကမို့ခိုင်းစီခြင်းပေါ့အဖေလည်းမို့ခိုင်းစီခြင်းစွန်ကန်ကြွားမှအဲ့ဆရာလေးတွေကိုတွေ့လို့ဆိုမှဆရာလေးတွေကိုမြင်ပြီးမှကြည်ညိုလို့ဆိုမှဝတ်ချင်လို့ဝတ်လာခဲ့ရလေ
အခုဒီကြောင်ကတော့နှစ်ပေါင်း100နဲ့16နှစ်ရှိသွားပြီလေးလာတာကမတထောင်သားပြောအောင်ပေါ့အကွာဖះသမီးတွေ
ဒီတိုင်းလိုက်တယ်သူကငှိုက်နေတယ်ညီမဟုတ်ပြင်းမလား
这来等于家长到，你到不来那个。
လူတွေနဲ့မတူအောင်ကျင့်ခိုင်းတာပဲလေမြတ်စွာဘုရားကဒါတွေကိုသိခံနိုင်အောင်စွန့်လွတ်နိုင်အောင်သုံးနဲ့စားရမယ့်ဟာကိုနက်ပဲစားပြီးသိခံပါမယ်
စားစားရရအချိန်ပြေကြပါစေချင်းမမကြီးရမမကြီး
ဒ
ဝိပဿနာကတော့တရားအထုတ်တာပါပဲတွေးတာမှလည်းအကုန်မှတ်လို့ရတယ်လေဒါဖြစ်ပြတာပဲမမြဲတာပဲအဲ့စိတ်ကိုတရားထုတ်ခဲ့တဲ့နေရာပုံစံမျိုးတိုင်းပဲအဲ့အရာတွေ့ခဲ့မမြဲဘူးဆိုတာကိုသိလို့ရတယ်
တခုတပားဆိုရင်တော့တိတ်ထင်ရမှာဆရာလေးကိုယ်တိုင်ပေါ့နော်တိတ်ထင်ရတယ်တိတ်ဂယူးစားရတယ်ရှိလား
မဟုတ်မမှန်တာဒီတခါတည်းပေါ့နော်ကိုကစရင်နှောက်ရင်မူသားဝါဒလေးတခုတော့နည်းနည်းထင်ရဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့စရင်နှောက်ရင်လိမ်မိတယ်လေအဲ့လိုမျိုးပေါ့နော်တခါတလေကျရင်ဖြစ်သွားမှာလွတ်ကနေဆိုအဲ့တခုတော့နည်းနည်းထင်ရပါဝစီကန်ဆိုတော့ကိုကလွတ်ကနေပြောလိုက်တော့သူများကဘယ်လိုခံစားသွားရမလဲနည်းနည်းစိတ်ဆိုးသွားရင်တော့နည်းနည်းထိခိုက်တာပေါ့ကိုတို့
ဒီကထုတ်ရည်ဖေးကဘူးအဲ့ဒါလူနာလည်းပြဲပါမှာကုတ်တယ်တေးပြီးရတကတေးပါနားလေးအဲ့ဒါတေးပါပြီဆက်ကုတ်တေးတာပြီလက်ကောင်စုံတေးပါဆရာအရှင်ချင်းမှာဘယ်
ဇာလေးတို့ကျတော့လားဇာလေးတို့မပြေဆုံးတဲ့ခါကျတော့ဖိတ်ဆောင်သွားရတယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးဒုက္ခတော့ရှိရဲ့တကမလေးအဲ့ဒါပါပဲ
နားဆိုင်ရပါရှင်
ရှိနေတော့
ဒါရနာဘာဘာတဲ့ဆနာဘာဘာမင်းနာကန်တူတဲ့ဒါကြပါ우대모 소리관에 보면 연락해라. ဒီပနေကနေငါနဲ့ဒီကနေကြပါရှင်ဒါလိုက်နေတူကလည်းဒီနဲ့စနေငါနဲ့ဒီကနေကြဒါလိုက်နေတူကဒီပနေကနေငါနဲ့ဒီကနေကြဒါတော့ရောနာ
ဆရာကြီးလို့သူတို့ကိုလည်းဒါတဖြည်းဖြည်းနဲ့ဆရာကြီးလို့သူတို့ပဲပို့ပြီးတော့နမူနာယူရတယ်ပေါ့တက်ကြီးလာတက်မကြီးခင်လည်းပဲဆရာကြီးကဒီလိုချောင်းမို့လို့ဒီလိုလေးဒီလိုတီလာမြင်အောင်ဘယ်လိုနေသွားတယ်ဆိုတာသူ့ရဲ့နောက်ကိုကအတူခိုးပြီးတော့နမူနာလည်းပို့ယူရတာပေါ့ဆရာကြီးနေရတာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးနေရတာပဲနေချင်တာမို့နေလဲနေရတယ်
ဒီမှာနေရတော့စာတွေအများကြီးတင်ပြီးတော့မှဒီများတွေရောက်တဲ့စာမေးပွဲတွေအစင်းသေးပေါ့အမွေရောက်ချင်တယ်ကြီးတုံရပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးအတူယူရမှာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးလေးကိုဖြစ်အောင်ကြိုးစားရမှာပေါ့အဲ့တုံပါလို့အတူယူရမှာ
ဒီဖះစာတွေတရားတွေသင်ရတာလည်းသဘောကျတယ်ဒီကိုယုံကိုလည်းသဘောကျတယ်ဝေဒီကိုယုံကိုလည်းသဘောကျတယ်ဝေစုံနေလည်းသဘောကျတယ်။ तू ကဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲမိုင်းရှင်းတယ်ငြိမ်းချမ်းတယ်ပေါ့လေစိတ်ထဲကငယ်တော့သူများတွေဆလေးကဒီဆရာလေးမွေးခင်တော့ပေါ့အမေကအများတန်းခေါင်းဝင်နေစကတ်တွေဆင်တာလေအဲ့လိုဆိုသူများတွေအဲ့လိုလှလှလေးတွေဝတ်ထိုင်အော်ငါလည်းဒီလိုခေါင်းဝင်လေးဝတ်လိုက်ရင်လှမလားမသိဘူးစိတ်ကူးမိရဒါပေမဲ့ဒီမိုင်းတွေးကြည့်လိုက်တော့ဒီခေါင်းဝင်ဝတ်ဖို့ဒီမိတ်ကပ်တွေလိမ့်ဖို့အတွက်ကအလုပ်လုပ်ရမယ်ဒီမိုင်းအလကားမရအောင်မိုင်းတို့ဆိုရင်တနေ့ရသွားမယ်ကောင်းပြရမယ်တနခါလေးရမယ်ဆရာလေးတို့ဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒါလေးလုပ်ကြမလို့တခါတည်းကိုယုံလေးယုံပြီးတော့ပြန်ရဆင်ရတဲ့ဒုက္ခတွေလည်းငြိမ်းမယ်အားကြောင့်သဘောကျတယ်
ဒီခန္ဓာကိုယ်ကြီးကဘာမှလည်းအနှစ်သာရမရှိဘူးပေါ့ဒီလောဘဒေါသတွေထားတာလည်းပဲမာနတွေထားလည်းပဲဘာမှလည်းမဟုတ်ဘူးပေါ့နော်နေကြတော့လည်းပဲဘလောက်ချောချောသိရတာပဲဘလောက်ပညာတတ်သိရတာပဲဆိုပြီးတော့စိတ်ထဲမှာစိတ်ကူးရင်ပြီးတော့ဒီအလောင်းကောင်ကိုကျင်းထားရတာပေါ့နောက်ပိုင်းကျတော့ကိုယ်ခန္ဓာကိုယ်ပဲပုတ်လာပြီးပွားလာပြီးယိုယွင်းလာပြီးအယိုးတွေဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီးအမှုန်တွေဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီးအရင်တော့ဆိုရင်လူတယောက်ကြည့်ရင်ဒီလူကတိတ်လှတယ်လို့မျက်စိထဲမှာမြင်ပြီးတော့တအားငေးမောကျင့်မိတာပေါ့နော်ဘာဝ နာတွေပွားပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းလူတယောက်ကိုကြည့်ပြီးဆိုရင်အယိုးစုရုပ်ထင်လာတယ်သူကအပေါ်ယံပဲဖုံးထားတယ်လို့ညံထဲမှာမြင်တာလှတာလည်းမသိဘူးမလှတာလည်းမသိဘူးအော်ဒီအေးခံရချိုးတယ်လှတယ်ဟိုဘယ်လိုသိလိုက်လဲဆိုတော့သူ့ရဲ့နှလုံးသားကကြည်နေတယ်မကြည့်ဘူးဒါပဲစိတ်ထဲမှာသိတယ်
ဘယ်လိုလဲဘာရခေါ်နေတာ
ဘယ်နဲ့ကြီးလေပြုံပြုံလေးပြုံဟိုးဒီရုပ်ရက်ကိုခတ်တယ်ဟုတ်ပြီနော်အဲ့ဒီလာမနော်ခေါ်နေလားနာလာရော
အတူလေ
ကောင်းကောင်းထိုင်နော်ဒီလေပြုံးသွားไม่เลยไม่ต้องestá en el tiempo ¿qué más de bien? ya ya đi đâu à? Tôi cái này mà là gì? Đây là áo chàm là. Đi chỗ đây chụp lại là gì này? Con nào kỹ mà biết đấy. Không được nó. Các số tự chụp. Chào mà là chụp. Miếng được khai lên này. Khai lên lại. Nào. Xin lên là chụp lại. Ông mà ông lên màလူကြောင့်ညီးငွေးတာရှာတယ်ကညီးငွေးတော့လေလောကဘယ်တော့ခပ်ပြီးမလို့ခံပြနေတာကိုဟာကိုစိတ်ကတာကိုခံပြနေတာလေမင်းမနဲ့ရောက်ခဲ့နေမလို့ဘူးလေဟုတ်ပလားဦးစင်းတဲ့ကွင်းတဲ့ဆိုချက်ပြလာစားအောင်ပဲမဲတီရဆိုဟောဆန်တဲ့ထဲမဲလေးချေရတယ်ဆုပ်ချက်ခါဟောဟိုမဟာမုန်ဖျားတယ်တမရောက်ခဲ့တဲ့တဲ့ရတာလေတ တဲလို့ကောမောဖျားပေါ်မှာတော့မတရားဘူးမိမထရတာလေအောက်ကြတယ်လေဖြစ်ပြစေဖုန်ကြီးဖြစ်ပြစေဆူတောင်းတာမြဲတာယောက်ျားဖြစ်ပြစေလို့ဖျားကိုနေတိုင်းဆူတောင်းတာဖြစ်နေတယ်လေဖြစ်နေတယ်ကိုကပြန်မထုတ်တယ်လေမိမဖြစ်ချင်ဘူးလို့ယောက်ျားဖြစ်ပြစေလို့ပေါ်တယ်စက္ကူနဲ့လေတဲ့စက္ကူနဲ့လောက်ကပေါ့အမှတငယ်ချင်းတွေအလုံး7ပါးအငယ်တန်းပထမငယ်တန်းကိုဖြည့်ကြတယ်ကျန်တဲ့10ပါးကြာနေကြတာပေါ့နော်အရန်ခင်တဲ့တငယ်ချင်း3ပါးရှိတယ်သူတို့ကလည်းပေါ့နော်သူတို့လူကြတယ်ဆိုတော့လူထွက်တော့မယ်ဘာစိတ်မရလို့တော့မဟုတ်ဘူးသူတို့ကတော့အဆောင်ဘက်ကြလို့စိတ်တက်ကြပြီလူထွက်မယ်ပေါ့အဲ့ချိန်မှာဆယ်လေးကလည်းသူတို့တောင်မှလူထွက်သေးတာပဲသူတို့လူထွက်သွားရင်တငယ်ချင်းတွေမရှိတော့ဘူးပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ဆယ်လေးလည်းလိုက်ထွက်မယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့အဖွားကလည်းပဲသူအရန်ချစ်တဲ့ဒီမြည်ကိုပေါ့ဘာလို့သူထွက်ရမလဲပေါ့အဖွားကတော့ကားတွေဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့မှာအဖွားကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့မထွက်တော့ပါဘူးဆိုပြီးတော့အဖွားစိတ်ချမ်းသာအောင်နေမယ်အဲ့လိုလေးကနေမြည်သွားတာခုချိန်ထိ
အကြီးစားကြီးတော့မဟုတ်ရှိတာတော့အကုန်လုံးကိုတော့ရှိတယ်ဒေါဘလည်းရှိတယ်ဒေါသလည်းရှိတယ်မဟုတ်ကုထုစင်ပဲရှိသေးတယ်ပယ်တာတော့ဘာမှပယ်လို့မရဘူး
ယောက်ျားလေးကိစ္စဆိုတာဒီလက်ရှင်ဘဝမှာထိန်းသားခက်ဆုံးပဲပေါ့နော်ရုပ်ပြက်တယ်လေအဲ့ဒါကြတော့အများဆုံးစက္ကွန်20နဲ့15ကြားမှာအများဆုံးဖြစ်တတ်ပါတယ်အခုလိုပေါ့နော်အခုဒီယောက်ျားလေးတွေနဲ့ရှုပ်ရှက်ဖြစ်ရင်နင်ထုတ်တယ်တို့လိုပေါ့တယောက်ရှိနေရင်ကျန်တဲ့ခြားရောက်တွေပါပျက်စီးမှဆိုလို့
ထွက်တာဟိုဒီလက်ရှင်ထွက်တာဒီလက်ရှင်ဘဝမပျော်ဘူးလားဒီမှာဘယ်လိုဖြစ်တော့
ပြောပါတယ်ဘယ်လိုပြောရလဲငယ်လေးငယ်သေးတော့စိတ်ကစားတာဟိုထွက်ချင်တယ်ဝတ်ချင်တယ်ခဏသူများမြင်ပြီးတော့အမျိုးထွက်ချင်တယ်အဲစိတ်ကစားတာပါ
လှချင်လို့လား
လှချင်တယ်အမှန်တမ်းပြောရင်လှချင်တယ်
လှနေတယ်ပေါ့နော်
အခုတော့မလှသေးပါဘူးမတက်တော့လို့အခုက
ကြောင်းလုပ်တယ်လေ
ရွာဘက်မှာလှုပ်တယ်လေဟိုဆယ်မှုဆယ်ဘက်မှာအမျိုးဆက်ယုံတယ်ပါအဲ့လိုလှုပ်တာ
ဆက်ယုံမှာလှုပ်တာဒီလက်ရှင်ဘဝထက်ပိုကောင်းတာ
အဲ့မှာဆရာလေးဘွားပိုးကြီးကြီးဟာဆရာလူကြောင်လည်းဖြစ်တော့နည်းနည်းစိတ်ပူတယ်နည်းနည်းစိတ်ပင်ပန်းရတယ်ဆရာလေးမျိုးဆိုင်တော့ဆရာလေးတွေကဘာမှလည်းပူပင်တော့ကမရှိဘူး
မရဘူးဟာဒီမနိုင်တော့
ပြန်ဝင်သစ္စာကြောင်ပဲပြန်
အချမ်းစားပြီးဝတ်လိုက်ပေါ့
ဝတ်လိုက်ထွက်လိုက်တော့မ
လို့နှစ်ဘဝလုံးကိုရှင်းကြည့်ပြီးပြီလေဘယ်ဘဝကောင်းတယ်ဘယ်ဘဝမကောင်းဘူးဆိုရှင်းကြည့်ပြီးပြီအဲ့တော့ကုသိုလ်တရားများများရ
တကယ်တော့တွေ့ကြည့်ရင်လူကြောင်ဘွားလည်းအင်းအောင်တကယ်လို့အင်းအောင်စားတော့ခဏလေးဒုက္ခရောက်
ခဏပဲတာယာမှာနေ
အဲ့ဒါသိရပေါ့
ဟုတ်လားပြင်တာလည်းမဟုတ်တာလေ
ဒါပြန်ပြီးတော့စဉ်းစားမယ်စဉ်းစားပြီးဒီ
ကအဖေတို့တားလို့ကူအောင်ပဲသူတို့အိမ်မှာအဖေအမေထေအငယ်မရဲ့3ယောက်ပဲရှိရအကြောင်း
တော့ကူပြင်ပြန်လာပြီးတော့ဝတ်မယ်
ပါသွားပြီအဲ့ဆိုပြန်လာရင်မျောနေမယ်လေမဟုတ်ဘူးလား
အပျော်ပေါ့နော်အပျော်ဘက်ကိုနည်းနည်းတွေးလိုက်မိပေါ့နော်အဲလူထွက်ချင်တာပေါ့နော်ဒါပေမဲ့ ကိုတနေ့တစ်ခါရွာပြန်တဲ့အသက်ရွာပြန်အမနော်မီတို့ဘို့စီရဲဘောနော်ဇာလေးပြန်သွားရင်ပို့ပြီးစိတ်ဆင်းရဲရမှာပေါ့နော်
တငယ်ချင်းတွေကသူတို့နှစ်ယောက်ကထွက်သွားတော့ထွက်ပြေးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာသူတို့အိမ်အောင်ကြတယ်ပေါ့နော်ကလေးတွေနဲ့ဆိုတော့သူတို့ရန်ဒုက္ခရောက်တယ်လေအိုးတဲ့မထွက်တာကန်ကောင်းတယ်ဆရာလေးကိုမထွက်တာကောင်းတယ်ပေါ့နော်မထွက်နဲ့တော့အရန်ပင်မနဲ့ဆင်းရဲတယ်ဒုက္ခရောက်တယ်ပေါ့အေးမထွက်ချင်ပါဘူး
ကလေးနဲ့မိသားစုမရချင်ဘူးလား
မရချင်ဘူးဆရာလေးကတော့မရချင်ဘူးသူများတွေမြင်တယ်မြင်
စားတယ်
ဆရာဝကြီးဆရာဝကြီး
ရုပ်ရှင်တစ်ခါမှမရိုက်ဘူးလေခုပဲရိုက်တော့
မင်းသမီးဖေရတယ်နဲ့ဘဝင်မြင်တော့မှာ
ဘဝင်မြင်တယ်လို့ဘာလဲလို့ခံစားရတယ်
အော်ငါမင်းသမီးဖြစ်လာပါလားအဲ့လောက်ချောလာ
ဒီတခြားအားလုံးလေအားလုံးဒီလာရှင်ဟာဟိုဘလို့ခံစားရတယ်လေအဲ့ဒါကိုဒီငင်းချမ်းမဟုတ်တော့ဘူးလေနည်းနည်းလေးတော့အပြင်ရလာတယ်ရုပ်ရှင်ရိုက်တာဒီလောကီပစ္စည်းအများကြီးပါတယ်ဆိုတာဆရာလေးဘလို့ခံစားရတယ်
လေနည်းနည်းလေးတော့စိတ်ရှုပ်စရာတော့နည်းနည်းတော့ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာအကြောင်းကိုသိကျင်တယ်ဆိုတော့သိခံပြီးဖြည့်ရှင်ရမယ်လေတာဝန်ရှိတယ်ပေါ့
ဆရာလေးဟိုအခုကဒီစာတက်ချင်တဲ့အကုန်လုံးသဘောပေါက်တယ်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့
ဒါပေမဲ့ခိုးအတွက်နည်းနည်းပါပါတခြားဖြစ်ချင်တာရှိသေးလား
တခြားဖြစ်ချင်တာတခြား
ဟိုကဒီလိုက်ရှင်ဘာဖြစ်လို့ဒီဘဝမှာဘာဖြစ်ချင်သေးလဲ
ဒီဘဝမှာ
ဘုရားဝါဒဖြစ်နေတယ်ဒီလိုက်ရှင်ဝင်နေတယ်ဟိုစာတင်နေတယ်စာချမယ်နောက်မှာဒါပေမဲ့ခုအတွက်နောက်တစ်ခုကဘာဖြစ်ချင်တယ်လဲ
ကိုအတွက်နောက်တစ်ခုကဆက်လေးဘာဖြစ်စားတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တရားပဲဖြစ်နေအဲ့လိုပဲရှိသေးတယ်
။အော်
ဒီမှာချက်ကြီးမှမရှိသေးဘူး
သူများအတွက်ရောကိုယ့်အတွက်ရောတွေးပြီးတော့ဒီဘဝကိုမြင်အောင်နေလိုက်တာ
ဒါသူများအတွက်ပြောတာ
သူများအတွက်
ကိုယ့်အတွက်ကော
ကိုယ့်အတွက်ကတော့ပျော်လဲပျော်တာ哦
ဒီလိုပဲပေါ့
ပေါ်တယ်
လွယ်လွယ်လေး
ရှိတယ်
နေအောင်မလားဒီလာရှင်ပေါ်မှာ
နေအောင်ပါ
ဘယ်လောက်နေအောင်မလား
အသက်ကြီးအောင်လို့နေအောင်ပါ
ဟုတ်လားဆရာလေးရော
အသက်ကြီးအောင်
ကိုကတက်နိုင်တော့ပြန်ပြီးတော့ကူညီမှာပေါ့တော့မိုင်းဆရာသမားတွေတက်ကြီးသွားလို့စာဝါတွေပိုင်းမချနိုင်တဲ့အခါကိုအောက်ကအငယ်ငယ်တွေကို
Jiya lo do bo